is Dr. Farina King. I'm a history assistant professor at Northeastern State University, and I'm with Dr. Cheryl Van Den Handel, who is in the political science and geography department. And Dr. Cheryl Van Den Handel, can you briefly introduce yourself and what you do at NSU?
Hi, so I'm Dr. Van Den Handel, and I teach comparative and international relations, foreign policy, global topics, and I lead the Model UN team at the university. Um, yeah.
Awesome. Well, we have Dr. Van Den Handel with us today because she has been a key contributor and support to the NSU Community Health and Wellbeing Collective. She has helped to launch a mindfulness meditation with Cheryl time, which is held weekly. It just began in the last week of February 2021. And I'm going to ask Cheryl about that and why mindful meditation is helpful, beneficial, and supports our community health and well-being, especially in a university context. So first of all, Cheryl, could you tell us a little basic information about these sessions? What do you do? Just to let people know that how they can get involved with that, and then why should they?
Okay, so I'm holding a 30-minute meditation session every Monday from 3:30 to 4:30 in the afternoon. If you would like the link, Farina has posted it in a couple of different places, or you can email me at vandenha@nsuk.edu, and I will send you the link. It's the same link through the rest of the semester. There are a couple days where we can't meet because of things in my schedule. Um, so, what is mindfulness meditation? Um, in short, mindfulness means to pay attention. And in times of great stress, times of great turmoil, or even times when there's none of that, um, paying attention to one's own body, paying attention to one's breathing, paying attention to what is going on within each of us helps us to work our way through our daily life. Pardon my allergies. The pollens are very high this time of year.
Oh, no worries. We understand.
um, so I've been practicing meditation since the late 1980s, and it's really helped me to get through some both painful and difficult times in my life, as well as some very joyful times in my life, and to sort of try to keep things on an even keel. So in the pandemic, we're all suffering from a great deal of stress. Our students have gotten sick, our faculty and staff have gotten sick, people have lost family members, um, lots of other things in our political and economic and social lives. And one of the things that we need to do is to pay attention to ourselves and to provide some tender, loving care for ourselves. All right. Because if we don't pay attention, if we don't take care of ourselves, it becomes very difficult to take care of other people. So, mindfulness meditation is about focusing within and not focusing on the outside. You're letting go of what is outside.
Mhm. That is so powerful. And I appreciate that you brought up you have experience with this, you've done this a while. So, was this the first time you've held these kind of sessions, and What do you hope to get out of these sessions, offer to people on campus when they come and meet? And I have to say, a little admittance here that I have gone to the sessions and I love them. So I'm just asking on the part of everyone else who are less familiar with this, and there's different connotations with meditation. They have these stereotypes. So to help, explain that and unpack that would be great.
Okay. Um, so I've been teaching in my temple um, for about a year now. And meditation is a regular part of our Sunday morning. So when you came up with this wonderful program
Thank
of
you.
of trying to bring some health and well-being and some focus on our health and well-being to the campus, I thought, well, I'm kind of stuck here at home teaching from home. Um, just started getting vaccinations in my house,
Wow.
I thought, well, I don't come down to campus, so helping physically is difficult, but I can offer to teach any faculty and staff who are interested um, the fundamentals of beginning to meditate. So in society and in popular media, there's just all this stuff about mindfulness. Um, to those of us who are Buddhist, this is a part of our existence. This is a part of our everyday life.
Mhm.
And the popularization is, I'm sorry, it's a little annoying because it
Yeah.
doesn't get to the essence of what it is and what you use it for, right? Um, so when I'm teaching mindfulness meditation, I am not teaching it from a perspective of popular media.
Okay.
I'm teaching it from a perspective that this is something that you do for yourself. There are other kinds of meditation, all kinds of spiritual practices, religions engage in some form of contemplative practice. Um, so there's nothing inherently religious about meditating,
Mhm.
but there are different levels of meditation, different types of meditation. So my own practice goes far beyond mindfulness meditation, but it's a good starting point. It's a good
Yeah.
starting point to learn how to calm your body, how to pay attention to relaxing, to focusing on your breath, to how to calm your mind, and then to take that one step further, hopefully in the not too distant future, if we get the same people returning, um, then we'll move into, um, when you're feeling very stressed. These are some techniques you can do. If you're feeling really frustrated and upset and angry, here is a meditative way of dealing with that, right? So this is an initial teaching
Mhm.
of saying, okay, this is what you do with your body. This is how you pay attention. Then you need to practice, right? And 30 minutes is long enough. Um, you can meditate for 5 minutes. You can meditate for 10 minutes. Um, close your eyes, put your hands in your lap, relax, um, breathe, focus on your breathing. Let the world just kind of slip away for a few minutes. And then when you return your focus to what you're doing, your focus is a little bit better. At least this is my experience over the long haul, is that sometimes you've got to slow that freight train down. In academia, we are on the freight train.
Oh, yeah. I
We
get
are driving our individual freight trains. right? And
Yes.
it's always, this go 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 kind of thing that we're engaged in. I've got to prepare for teaching, and I got to think about next week's assignments and how am I going to get them to apply what they're learning. And oh my gosh, okay, I've got to give this test, and then I have to
Yep.
grade this test, and then coaches are
Deadlines.
asking us for grade checks, and it's like, but I'm not calculating grades this week.
Oh, yes, I relate to that.
um, and then there's committee meetings, and there's that and the other thing that we have to do. Not to mention the fact that we have a home and a family,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And we have to try to figure out what is the balance between the life that is outside of academia and the life that is within academia.
Mhm.
Um,
So
to that effect, I have a little thing on my bookshelf that
oh,
says, having a career is not the same thing as having a life,
oh, yeah, that's
but
great.
I can teach you how to create a little bit better balance through meditation
Yeah.
to
Well,
take care of yourself.
that's great. Well, thank you for sharing all that and for leading the group. I have just a couple last wrap up questions. Is one, you started to get into what is meditation. Actually, some tips for people, the breathing, where is the focus? Can you talk a little bit about that and maybe some tips and resources for anyone listening? And this is the group has been emphasizing faculty and staff, inviting them, but do you think students could do something like this, something for students in the future? And of course, these tips and resources could be for anyone.
Sure. I don't have a list of resources in front of me right now, but I
Mhm.
can give you a list that you can post.
I would love that.
Um, yeah. Um, okay, so what is meditation? Meditation, meditation is moving inwards. Okay. Um, maybe I could say, um, when you pray, you're praying outwards. When you are meditating, you are focused inwards. Okay. Um, with mindfulness, we're focused on our body, right? We're focused explicitly on our body as a way to create a calmness, a sense of well-being, a calmness in the mind. Um, as you develop a practice, because meditation is a practice. So as you develop a practice and you start with the basics of breathing and focus on your breathing. See, when you focus on those small things, then your mind is not going somewhere else, right? You're you're thinking about, the air coming in, your lungs expanding, your rib cage expanding, your muscles expanding and contracting, your shoulder blades up and down, the air coming in through your nose or through your mouth, and then coming back out. So, that specific focus on each part of your breathing focuses your attention away from other things that your brain might want to think about, right? Because the brain will run away with you. It will run away with you. um, as you get further into your practice, you may find that it's not quite enough to focus on your breath. So then there are other places to provide your focus. So some people will focus on an object with their eyes open. Um, some people, um, there's a light and a dark aspect to closing your eyes, right? So when your eyes are closed and your focus forward. It's sort of like looking at the inside of the back of your eyelids. But the thing is to quiet the mind. So, but the brain doesn't want to stop, right? So then that becomes a thing of saying, I'm going to quiet the mind. And when a thought comes in, you say, oh, hi, thought. You look at the thought and you brush it away. And it takes a long, long time of practicing to quiet the mind in such a way because the mind always thinks, right? Um, some contemplatives like to use sound. Um, I like to listen to the sound of running water. So I have an app called Water and Gong that I particularly enjoy. Um, the meditation apps, I kind of have to look through them. I have my favorite people, and I definitely don't want to listen to somebody talking in my ear when I'm trying to meditate. So give me a focus and then be quiet.
Yeah, I see that.
um, so as I'm teaching, I try to have that quiet period in there to let you focus as you are learning. Um, let's see. So there's sound,
I
there's mudras, which are hand movements, and there are other.
Okay.
Some people meditate with yoga. There are yogic
Oh,
movements.
yeah.
Um, some people, I mean, there isn't one right or wrong way,
Mhm.
right? People develop, contemplatives develop their own style of meditating. And sometimes as we're learning more about what we're doing, or we learn about other kinds of meditations, we try those out and see what they're like. But you have to start from somewhere.
Yeah. You said contemplatives, like a noun. What do you mean by that? Define it for those of us who are less familiar with that kind of
Oh,
term.
a contemplative is a person who meditates and may spend some time studying spiritual aspects within their own religion,
Mm.
and then focusing their meditation practice on certain aspects or principles, or thought streams. Sometimes we meditate. Um, we'll be reading on a particular spiritual aspect, um, and then what we do is focus our primary thought on that. So the meditative practice there is concentration on uh, that spiritual thing that we're studying, right? So that's another kind of meditation
Mm.
where you actually follow the thought stream and you look deeply within yourself. So how does it relate to myself, my life, how I relate to other people? Um,
Is
yeah,
that the loving kindness meditation I've heard about? It's also known as metta, I think. Metta.
meta.
Okay.
Okay, so meta is different. So meta starts with may I be peaceful, may I be calm, may I be happy. There's other lines. So you start with yourself and then you reach that out and you say, Farina, may you be happy, may you be calm, may you be peaceful and at ease. And then you reach beyond. So you can do that for individual people. Um, I often think about my students. The practice of metta is to extend to the human beings the creatures great and small in our world, to experience loving kindness, that we engage in compassion towards others, that we wish for others that they engage in loving kindness and compassion to others. Um, this is a very specific practice, loving kindness meditation, and I do this a lot. Um, one of my best friends has been going through her second bout of cancer, and it's an everyday thing to extend metta to her. Um, if you will, prayer is an outward reaching. Metta starts within your own self, and you build that metta within yourself so that um, you can you can think about extending loving kindness and compassion to everyone.
Mhm. Okay.
And the whole thing about that is it changes your brain.
Yeah.
It changes the way that you view the world. It changes the way that you think about people, even people who do bad things. And that can be really hard, really, really hard. Um, I know for myself there are certain individuals on this planet to whom I cannot extend metta,
Mhm. That's hard.
but that's personal, right? That's a personal thing. Um, to everybody else, yes.
Mhm. And there's also that term mantra that people call those thoughts. You've brought up these other terms, the streamline of thoughts or the outreach and such. So that's something to look up to. And I hadn't really heard about mantras until after college, after I had graduated as an undergraduate. So I back to the question about students, what kind of resources or what kind of possibilities do you think we could extend to students who are especially vulnerable, susceptible to these same kind of anxieties of higher ed?
I would really there have to be other people than just me who are contemplatives who meditate on a regular basis. There may be even be students or people in student affairs who know about this. And I think that it would be helpful for people, the staff within student affairs, to come up with um, like a weekly meditation for students that could be done as a meditation circle. Um, that could also be done via Zoom for people who, would prefer to do this in their dorm room because they're embarrassed. People feel embarrassed to try new things, right? Especially in front of other people. What if this person sees that I'm doing this crazy thing, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing crazy about meditation, but yeah, but there's always that anxiety. It's like, what if somebody finds out that I'm meditating? It's
Well,
like,
I
oh,
think there's also the feeling there's this culture of busy is good. If you're not busy, something's wrong with you. And productivity, be productive. And so I feel that, and that's what I appreciate from having that time reserved to remind me and to help practice and get that positive habit, a positive experience that when I need it, I can meditate. And I have heard you say that before where you've said you've come back from a long day or a class even and you just sit and you have that moment to meditate because I had brought up the question to you in a separate conversation about when can you meditate, what kind of environment, atmosphere do you need? And you're bringing that up. You do want to be somewhere safe, where you can pause and people won't be questioning what is that person doing, but you can have that moment of mindfulness, stop for yourself. It's self-care as
it
well.
is, it
But you
is.
also brought up how it can be directed towards positivity outward. in the
Yes.
world as well. So that inward and outward connection and relatability. So that was very insightful, and thank you for that. Well, we are up on time today, but I hope that we continue to have these kinds of conversations. It'd be great in the future to have another feature on this because it feels like we are just touching the tip of the iceberg. There's so much. And so please send me any resources that I can post on our Facebook. That's the most active form of communications we've been using of
Yes.
NSU Community Health and Wellbeing. It is a public Facebook page. So I believe that people do not necessarily need to have their own Facebook accounts to see it. But of course, they can contact me at king64 at nsuok.edu or Dr. Cheryl Van Den Handel for any questions or pointers. And I love that idea of let's work with student affairs to encourage some meditation time. And I think it's especially important to have these kind of sessions led by peers, fellow students who can take the lead on this. So that's a great idea. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for your time, for also sharing your experiences and these great um, toolkit in a way, the knowledge you have and the practices of meditation, specifically mindful meditation. So we're glad to have you and thank you for your time and all that you do for NSU and community at large. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you for having me. And don't forget Monday, 3:30 to 4:30. And Farina and I both have the Zoom link, so you can just contact one of us and ask for that link, and we'll put it back up on the Facebook page also.
Yes, thank you so much for that reminder. Hope to see y'all on Monday or find that time on your own. That's what I love about it too, is that people can meditate on their own anytime when you need it. So it's just learning. I know for me, I was not very familiar with it. And so it helps to see and learn from others too and share in that way. All right, everyone. Thank you. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.